What happens when you violate probation and you don't feel you should be punished? Well, in Judge Disanto's courtroom today, this total Karen feels that smoking a little of the devil's lettuce should not be a violation. Also, she feels the judge is acting like a complete butthole. And boy, does she tell her.
The medical necessity of your card and that there's been a treating relationship between you and the doctor, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And so your medical marijuana card at this point is not recognized by this court because you're still missing one of the pieces that you need. Have you submitted that yet?
No, I have not. I don't have an attending physician. I go to a residency center when I need medical attention. I see a different doctor every time I go.
Okay, but you have a treating relationship with that center, correct?
Yeah, the clinic.
Okay, so is that clinic a medical marijuana clinic or like an urgent care type of clinic?
No, it's called Monroe Relief Clinic. It's just a clinic here in Monroe.
Okay, do they specialize in marijuana or is it more of a general practice?
Marijuana.
Okay, so that is one of the reasons why this court, even given the recent case law, the court is still within its discretion to require you to have a treating relationship with the physician that's prescribing the medical marijuana to you, because that's not something that you had prior to being placed on probation.
Correct.
Okay. And you are aware of that, ma'am, and yet you still decided to partake in marijuana.
Yes, I use it for headaches, nausea, anxiety. I was told by the clinic that if I had a card, I couldn't get in any trouble. But that's just here in Monroe. I didn't realize in Wyandotte it's like that.
Well, ma'am, with all due respect to the medical clinic, they're not the judge that's presiding over your case. This court has put an order in effect that says you're not to use any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed. Furthermore, if there's a prescription for marijuana because you didn't have one previously, that is why this court requires that next step to make sure there's a treating physician, there's a treating relationship between you and your physician that's prescribing the marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And when you were sentenced, ma'am, you were under the care of a nurse practitioner. Where does that nurse practitioner work out of?
She works out of the hospital. She prescribes my antidepressant.
Okay, so therefore, that is one of the reasons this court requires something from a medical professional that you have a treating relationship with, because marijuana does interact with various drugs. So you are prescribed 5 different medications.
Yes.
And the court also, in addition, when there is a history of substance use or controlled substance use, even if it's regulated by a doctor, there's still concerns that you're supplanting one addiction for another. So the recommendation is for you to continue to complete all terms of probation, face probation violation fee, increase your testing, and serve 5 days jail. That's for this violation. And so the court's going to adopt that recommendation. So you need to report me on today for jail.
What? I was under
Ma'am,
the impression that this jail sentence would be suspended.
well, let me clarify. So on your jail review, the recommendation was for your jail review to be adjourned for 2 months. On your probation violation, the recommendation is for 5 days jail.
I was under the impression that I wasn't gonna have to go to jail.
Ma'am, on your probation order, it indicates mandatory additional incarceration for any violation. And here we are for a violation. The court already suspended your 30-day jail term that the court sentenced you to back in April.
Well, if I go to jail, I'm gonna lose my job of 10 years.
Well, ma'am,
Your Honor, would potentially request a report date so that she could make the necessary arrangements.
how much notice do you need to give to your employer, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
How much notice do you need to provide to your employer?
If I tell them, if I can't, there's no way I could miss 5 days and keep my job.
You don't have any paid time off, you've been there for 10 years.
Yeah, I've had time off. I don't have 5 days to take.
All right, well, ma'am, let me just indicate this, okay? You were, what? Just say cancel. You were charged with retail fraud. And you were given an amended charge of attempt retail fraud, despite having 3 prior retail fraud convictions on your record. The most recent one was December of 2021.
Right.
You received a very generous plea. This court indicated at the time of sentencing, in addition to some other conditions, incarceration, and we suspended that for a jail review. The court also indicated mandatory additional incarceration for any violation of probation. And here we are today on a violation of probation. You were put on notice, ma'am, that there's mandatory jail for any violation.
Well, I didn't think I would be violating having a card. I didn't think I would be violating. I didn't know. I figured if I had a card in Monroe, they told me when I got it here, and I know it's not the judge, it's not you, but that's what I was told, that I wouldn't be in any harm's way by smoking marijuana. I mean, I with all due respect, I don't really understand why I'm on a alcohol or drug anything for retail fraud.
Because that's one of the conditions this court placed.
Given
your history, ma'am, because yes, given your criminal history, given your substance use history, that is why.
I don't have a substance abuse history.
Ma'am, during your pre-sentence investigation, it was indicated that you had previously been addicted to pain pills for 3 years.
That was 20 years ago almost.
Ma'am, and you had attended outpatient substance use counseling in the past. Most recently, 4 to 5 years ago. And then given the fact that now there's another retail fraud, the court wanted to make sure that you were not continuing to consume any alcohol and drugs that were not prescribed, that perhaps could have been a motivating factor for some of this. So,
no.
That is why the court ordered what it did. So the court will give you, what's your schedule, ma'am?
I work 3 to 3, 3 a.m. till 3 p.m. 6 days a week.
Okay, well, you'll have to communicate with your employer and see if there's some days you can have off. I'll give you until Friday to report.
Like I said, I don't know how I'm going to do that. It's impossible to pay my fines if I lose my job. I've paid $500 on my fine so far.
Okay, ma'am, if you end up losing your job, you'll have to communicate with probation so they can adjust your payment plan and suspend your payments until you obtain a new job.
Well, I'm not looking for a new job. I'm not ready to spoil my life. You're trying to ruin my life.
Ma'am, with all due respect, I am not the one that consumed the marijuana and violated probation.
I know, but it's not necessary for me to be on something like this. Everybody says it. It's not just me.
And ma'am, there could have certainly been an appeal of this court sentence and there was not. So, so the court's indicating 5 days jail. You need to report on Friday, June 9th. Contact probation, your probation officer, and she'll give you the information as to how to report. As to the jail review, the court will adjourn the jail review for 2 months to August 7th at 9:30 a.m. Anything else, counsel? Mr. Shenke? Mr. Shenke?
I'm sorry, yes, I'm here, Judge.
Okay, all right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything else, ma'am?
I just don't see why I'm gonna lose my job of 10 years over this.
Ma'am, this court put you on notice that there would be mandatory jail for any future violation.
Yeah,
You're here for a violation. Excuse me, you're here for a violation. You tested positive for marijuana. This court has not approved your marijuana use at this point. Therefore, the court is speaking through its written orders, and it's 5 days jail.
Like I said, I don't understand why this is gonna ruin my whole life over smoking some marijuana for something that makes me feel better when I am in pain.
Then ma'am, then you need to follow the court's directives as far as what's required in order for you to be able to use marijuana for medicinal purposes.
Well, if I get a note from the doctor that gave me the marijuana card, I was under the impression it isn't good enough.
The one that gave you the medical marijuana card, correct? You don't have a treating relationship with that person. You have a treating relationship with a nurse practitioner that's prescribed to you your other medication, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then that would be the medical professional that you need to chat with.
Okay. If I am to get a letter from a physician, would this suspend this 5 days jail?
No, ma'am, because you didn't have one at that time. No. Please email into your probation officer by 10:30. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day. We're going to be off the record.
20 years. No. Oh my God. What a asshole. What the hell is a lawyer doing for you? Nothing. Nothing. Oh my God. Who's the one that told you about
Ms. DeVal, you're still in court and you're not muted, so you need to sign off and email into your probation officer by 10:30.
sign off? Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure how to do that.
Just tap your screen and hit leave meeting.
Leave meeting. Okay. Screen. Leave. Leave.
Judge Disanto actually goes easy on her, besides the jail time. But that hot mick is one's for the books. In my opinion, yes, it was retail fraud. However, you were charged with a crime, and what the judge gives you as part of your probation is what you must comply with. So if weed is not allowed, well then, you better not roll up that blunt with your Karen crew, or you will be spending some time in lockup. It is not Judge Disanto's problem that you may lose your job. You were bold enough to steal. So now buck up, shut up, and deal with the consequences. Make sure to like and subscribe to Time Served, you assholes.